On behalf of the People's Democratic Party, we want to particularly thank all of you for this event we started live in Jos and is today taking place in the federal capital of Nigeria. It is a very important event because it draws on the two most important political groups in our political life, the youth and the women. Any political party that has massive support from these two groups tends to do very well. And I thank you for your continual support for our party. As a Christian, I want to say that we Christians believe a lot in prayer. We pray a lot for every incident in our lives. When we wake up, when we go to bed, when we are traveling, when we are flying, when we are doing anything, because we put God first. And I think that brings about peace in ourselves, internal peace, and maybe a disposition towards having a peaceful relationship with our fellow human beings. But over the years, we have also known that if you pray and you don't act, I don't think God will just come down and answer your prayer. You need to act. And so while we pray, we try as much as possible to act in a way that God will help us. Even the history of the church in our country, as you will see, it was based on a lot of activities of missionaries traveling to remote areas and doing necessary things that will bring about improvement in the quality of life of our people. For many of us, particularly in the northern states, I don't think we would have gone to school were it not for the missionaries. They contributed to education, to health services, to agri extension services. And I think we must not lose track of the contribution of the churches in our lives. But for a long time, it was as if in their preachings, they discouraged us about politics. Many people saw politics as something to be left to others. I'm happy that today, this narrative has changed. Events have made it possible to see that control of political power is very, very important. And therefore, it is important that Christians have to rise up. Christians have to come together and show a greater interest in politics. I believe this has been going on since some of us were kids, but it's much more vibrant today than in the 50s and 60s when some of us grew up. Recent events have made it even more imperative that all Christians in Nigeria have to participate actively, even if you don't want to be a card-carrying member of a political party. It is important that you must register. You must show an interest in what is happening around you. You must realize that if you allow what I regard as bad leaders to take over power, then they will misuse that power so badly that it will affect you, it will affect your children, it will affect your whole community. So with time, it will be a situation where our country becomes more and more underdeveloped and more divided. We in the North in particular, who are Christians, have lived peacefully with our fellow Muslim people. We don't divide ourselves over the years, but we live peacefully in many of the North Central areas. For example, in one family, you will find people of the same mother, the same father. Some are Christians, some are Muslims. And I think this extends all over most of the North and I think most of the southwestern part of the country also. So religion per se should not divide us so much. But unfortunately, certain fundamental things which we should have done to unite us have not been done. And therefore, we have become increasingly divided. And today, everybody is talking about divisions and divisions. But are we so divided? If you look at our recent political history from the time of Shehu Shagari to date, Christians have voted for Muslims. Muslims have voted for Christians. And some Muslim leaders have done very well. Shagari didn't divide us so much. Umaru Yar'Adua didn't divide us. I believe that we have a peculiar type of leadership in this country. It's a very bad leadership. And unfortunately, it is located in a particular political organization, whereby, I like the other gentleman, I think from, I don't know, Northwest or Northeast, who say that you can have a vice president that is completely not capable of solving your problems, because the platform on which such a vice president and the context of his performance is so bad that the platform will offer you much. Today, it's not just the issue of Muslim tickets. That is bad enough. But it's the reality that we have a political party that has no program for its people in this country. We have a president who is a Muslim, a vice president who is a Christian, but they are not sensitive to the yearnings of the vast majority of the population. We have about 28 ministers in the northern part of the country. I think only 2 are Christians. The rest 26 are Muslims. And that is not being sensitive, because the vice president per se cannot do everything. You need better representation in your government. And as a political party, the People's Democratic Party was founded on justice. We struggled against dictatorship. We struggled to locate a party in the people. The founding fathers of this party were both Muslims and Christians. Key leaders like Dr. Alex Ekwueme, Abubakar Remi, Adamu Chiroma, Solomon La, and some of us, the younger ones, were a mixture of Christians and Muslims, but who believe that we should do everything to unify our people. I think that when we presented our program to Nigerian people in 1999, the leadership then that we presented was a Christian, but with a strong vice president who was a Muslim. But we laid emphasis on serving our people or unifying our people. The PDP did a reasonably good job in the 16 years that it presided over the affairs of this country. We improved the economy. We were the fastest growing economy in the world, in Africa. We were virtually debt-free, because by the time we lost power, We had paid all our external debts. Today, we are borrowing to pay debts because of the mismanagement that has befallen this country. We never had a situation where the security situation was so bad. We did our best. Nigerians were beginning to forget about the disunity between religions or regions. Today, we have seen the worst form of division you can think of, and which explains why we need unification. And you can't unify without a leadership that believes in unification. Unification is not just a symbolic thing of picking a president who is of one faith and picking another who is of a different faith. Even if the APC were to come back tomorrow and give you a Muslim Christian ticket, your fate will be worse because they have no program for this country. I believe you need a leader, a group of leaders who will actually attend to the real problems facing this country. I have known Atiku Abubakar for the last 30-something years. We have worked closely in politics and in personal friendship. I hold discussions with him. He's disgusted at what is going on today. He's a leader who believes in not just unifying this country, but bringing about development. In the first 8 years of the PDP administration, he was the one in charge of economic development. And we saw how we moved this country forward. I believe if given a chance as the president of this country on the platform of the same PDP that did so much for you, we'll begin to unify and move our country forward. We looked around and we thought we have to give not just a vice president that we're assisting, but we did our study, we did our homework to select a young man who is highly educated, very humble, and who has done very well as a governor in his home state. In Delta State, where Governor Okowa has been governor for the last 7 years plus, he has brought about peace. He has unified his people, and he has developed the state, whether in the area of health, education, or infrastructure. In fact, I had the privilege of commissioning some of his projects, and I marveled at what he has done in such a short time. It is on his own personal merit that he was selected by the party as the vice presidential candidate to Atiku Abubakar. I think Nigeria will be very lucky to have two such people who are committed to development, who are detribalized, who believe in uniting this country. What you are doing is not just a service to Christianity, but it's a service to humanity. If you give them your support, which you are giving today, and you mobilize the rest of Nigerians to support, I believe we can salvage this country. This country is drifting very dangerously, and we can't allow it to disintegrate. Please give Atiku Abubakar and the Atiku Okowa your support, and they will make a difference. Thank you, and God bless you.